Joining me now to discuss this trial is attorney Tammy Allison. Tammy, glad to have you on the show. So I've been getting these text messages from R. Kelly fans saying, pull the transcripts. No, you guys are wrong. These people are lying. R. Kelly is innocent. These people really believe that R. Kelly, his defense is winning this trial. Your assessment?
Thank you for having me, Roland. Listen, Robert Sylvester Kelly is always going to have some super fans, right? But the fact remains, this is a federal case with a federal district court judge and a federal jury that has been instructed. These are very serious charges. In the courtroom, the demeanor, and the line of questionings, and these charges are going to be serious and taken very seriously. So it's different with the state courts where there's a lot of shenanigans that takes place. Here, these charges, racketeering, the sexual trafficking, interstate, these are very serious charges. And what's really important is that I think some of these super fans, while they're screaming their support for Robert Sylvester Kelly, they're forgetting about the fact that these charges are not about rape or sexual assault individually on these alleged victims. These charges are about an enterprise where the statute of limitations does not prevent the prosecutors from bringing in evidence that dates back to like the 90s when we all heard about these rumors.
And what's also happening here is you're having his former employees testify against him. In fact, it's very interesting. So Suzette Mayweather, yes, related to Floyd Mayweather. I remember running into her and a relative in an airport in Houston, and I didn't realize they had worked for R. Kelly, and they said, we are not going to be protecting Robert. We get called by a court. We're going to tell the truth. And so the difference between this trial and the previous one, he has people who were on the inside. You had the guy who testified that he was the one who paid somebody off to doctor the driver's license of Aaliyah to show that she was 18. You have this guy, Lewis, also testifying that he also tried to bribe another witness to change their story. You're seeing the similarities in stories as well. And so that's, I think, also the big difference between these two trials.
Absolutely, and bringing in those insiders that actually worked with him one-on-one, including Ms. Mayweather, who testified today. That is building up the prosecution's case for those racketeering charges. That shows that this was an enterprise. This is something that was ongoing. There was a pattern here that Mr. Kelly was participating in, and that criminal enterprise and having those insiders that actually worked with him so very closely testify this very damaging testimony that corroborates these alleged victims' testimony is only helping the prosecution. And I'm very interested to see what his defense attorneys are going to do to combat that testimony.
Obviously, they will get their shot right down there on the cross-examination, but they get to put their defense on. And so, based upon what you've seen and heard, do you believe that R. Kelly is certainly on his way to being convicted in this trial?
It depends. Again, this is federal district court. And, I'm a former federal prosecutor, former senior attorney with the Department of Justice, having spent, over a decade at the United States Department of Justice. So in federal district court, the jury instructions are very clear. So how the case is presented by the prosecution and the defense is going to determine how the jury is going to decide whether they're going to convict him or not. So it all is going to depend on how the defense attorneys do their cross-examination to combat these witness testimonies, to combat the validity and take away the credibility of each one of these witnesses' testimony from the prosecution. Because no matter what, in a criminal matter, the standard of proof is beyond a reasonable doubt. So if there's any type of doubt that the defense attorneys can present, the jury could find him not guilty.
All right. We're certainly going to be following this trial to see what happens next. We appreciate it. Thanks a lot.